Hi everyone, so let's talk about the Axelum IPO. What is it? What's the company? Where is it headed? What do they sell? What are their products? Should you buy the company? Should you avoid it? Where is it positioned for the long term? Check this video out. So hi everyone, this is Marvin Germon. I create daily videos on the stock market to help you, guide you, and give you the right information at the right time so you can win and you can trade with confidence. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe, smash that bell so you get updated every time I produce new content on the stock market. So enjoy the video. Hey guys, so I'm in Shangri-La, Makati guys. I'm just about to go to the Axelum investors briefing. You have to remember, every time IPOs are done, they have to make briefings like this to investors. That's where the board of directors are. That's where the leadership of the company is. That's where, above and beyond the numbers, they give you a background, a history on what's happening to the company and what can you expect from the IPO as well. So I'm gonna create another video about that to show you the entire coverage of the investor fair, the investor forum, so you get to see what happens as well. But for this video, I'm gonna talk about everything you need to know about Axelum, the details in terms of what's the company and how you're supposed to go about it. Comment the word Axelum if you are planning to buy it based on this video, or comment Axelum also if prior to this video you've already made up your mind on what it is and what you're supposed to do about the stock. So first things first, if you watch my video about IPOs, I'll put a link above on what it is. How do you know if it's a good IPO or a bad IPO? You will know that you cannot use technical analysis on IPOs because at the end of the day, technical analysis is predicated on past data. Technical analysis is predicated on past prices, and since the company does not have any past prices yet, technical analysis won't help you. So for those who ask questions about how can you use the technicals for IPO, you can't use it. You have to wait a couple of more days, a larger set of data points, so that technical analysis will be reliable and for it to be much useful. So I'm gonna read through this now because everything that I'm gonna share to you guys are primarily based on the prospectus, primarily based on what they disclose. There's no extra information. Everything that we know is found on what they're giving us. So I knew Axelum already for quite some time, primarily because of Vita Coco. Vita Coco is one of their, I guess, relatively more popular brands that's not just in the Philippines but it's around the world. So just to read also who they are, Axelum Resources is a fully integrated manufacturer of high quality coconut products for domestic and international food and beverage companies, confectioneries, bakeries, private label, supermarkets, grocery store chains, food service industries, coconut coffee creamer manufacturers, cosmetics, diet and prepared food market. So the company uses all parts of coconut in its production, resulting into full line of coconut products including coconut water, desiccated coconut, coconut milk powder, coconut milk cream, reduced fat coconut, sweetened coconut, coconut oil, and other coconut products. So what's nice about that, no, just reading through the descriptions, is that number one, you know that everything is used, walang tapon. They can maximize and they can utilize everything that they can see in terms of what they produce. And this company is heavily reliant on export. The majority of what they produce is shipped outside the country, where a lot of their clients are B2B clients that we all know, large brands around the world. The IPO price. The IPO price is at 6.81 pesos per share, which after they sell it to the market, there would be around 28.25% float, meaning that's the number of shares percentage-wise that will be out for all of us to buy and sell. And what you need to know as an investor is the offer period. That's a time where you get to buy and you get to at least take an order. Please remember this also, especially for retail clients, retail stock investors, that it does not mean you place a bid, you place an order, you will get the full allocation. It will also be dependent on the demand. If there's a lot of people wanting it and you are in a broker that has a lot of clients, it may be relatively harder for you to get the full allocation of what you want as well. But the offer period will be from September 24 to September 30. That's when you can place your orders to somehow have a shot to be part of the IPO. Then the listing date, the time that it will move from a private company to a public company, will be October 7. The total amount that will be raised is around 7.7 billion pesos. So this is something that's slightly larger than Kepwealth, which was only at 300 million pesos. So rule of thumb again, the smaller the IPO, the faster it is to have movements up because there's volatility. The larger the IPO, especially when we talk about MPI later on, which is much larger than this, it will take a harder time for it to move up because there's a lot of shares that's moving around. Now, to break down the proceeds of this IPO, no, the total number of shares that will be sold out in this IPO is around 1.13 million shares. And if I break that down even more, 700,000 are primary shares and the remaining 400,000 are all secondary shares. If you want to know the difference between primary and secondary, it's all in my IPO video for you to know the difference between it. But just to make it as simple as it can be, primary shares goes directly to the company, secondary shares goes to the shareholders, the owners that are making an exit as well. So to make it simpler also, it's only the 700,000 primary shares that will be used for the company to be able to either expand or pay off debt, and the remaining 400,000 shares will go to the owners of the stock. Now, dun sa remaining, ngayon, let's try to break down the allocations of where the money is going. 26% of the total 7 billion that will be raised, or around 1.85 billion pesos, is going to strategic acquisitions. This is good because this is growth, this is expansion. Then 530 million pesos, around 7% of it, will be placed for expansion of domestic and international distribution centers, which is also good because it enhances shareholder value. Then you have another 7%, around 470 million pesos, will be placed for new manufacturing facilities. Again, good again. So you add that, you have 26% strategic acquisitions, expansion of domestic and international distribution, 7%. Then another 7% for manufacturing facilities. You have around 40% of the total that will be used for expansion. Then you have 800 million, around 11% will be used for payment of loans. By utang, at least this is much better than Cemex. And Cemex had a stockpile of payment of loans in their IPO. Then they have other capital expenditures pegged at 17%. I'll have to check what the breakdown of this is. Then secondary shares is around 38%, or 2.7 billion pesos. So the basic purpose of this IPO is basically, as what I've mentioned, expansion, payment of debt, retirement of loans, and then some other capital expenditures, and as an exit mechanism for other investors to get out. That's 2.7 billion pesos worth. So the company will have a dividend policy of 15% coming from either cash or stock dividend based on the income of the previous year. So for those who are into dividends, this is something very important for you to know. Okay, now for those who are interested on how the shares will go, especially if you're retail investors and you want to know the breakdown of how much you can possibly buy, 791 million shares, or 70%, will go to institutional buyers. That's what I've been mentioning in the previous videos. The market is still based on institutions. They're the ones who control the money in the market. They're the ones who control the flow. So 70% goes to institutional buyers. Then 226 million will go to the PSE trading participants, meaning the local brokerage houses that we have here. Then the remaining 10%, or 113 million shares, will go to small investors, local small investors, retail investors who want to get at least a small piece of the pie. Now, income. Here's what's interesting though. If you notice, my technique is I want companies who are earning, but not just earning, their earnings must be growing and massively headed up. So here's the breakdown of the net income. 2015, they earned 108 million pesos. 2016, 474 million pesos. 2017, 530 million. Then 2018, it dropped to 365 million pesos. I'll have to make another video on the reason why it dropped. Is it something that should be alarming, or is there just some one-off things that could be factored out based on their accounting model, or did their sales drop and it's something to be concerned of as well? Because at the end of the day, you want something that their earnings are growing, their earnings are increasing, their earnings are massively crushing it as well. So competitive strengths is number one. They have economies of scale and their products so diversified, catering to different market segments. Number two, they already have an international network of clients. The company has a deep and wide portfolio of customers worldwide. The company's products are sold to domestic and international food beverage companies, confectioneries, bakeries, private label supermarkets, store chains, food services, coconut and coffee creamer manufacturers, cosmetics, and diet prepared food market. Notable consumers that you all know: Vita Coco, Hershey's, Congra Foods, Kellogg's, Quaker, Nestle, Russell Stover, Unilever, Kroger, Mondelez International, Ferrero, Kraft Foods, General Mills, Campbell's, Mars, Cadbury, Calbee, and so much more. So basically, you can treat Axelum like DNL. They're basically a B2B company. You may not know them much, but you may know who their customers are. Number three, they have a well-established global distribution network. Number four, it has a highly experienced and dedicated management team. I even had the chance to meet the owner a couple of times in the past, and engage talks with their companies as well. And lastly, they're the industry leader in the coconut industry. If you followed my videos, I like companies who are market leaders, who own the market, because it will be harder for competition to beat them. They place a large barrier of entry for them to be, I don't know, somehow displaced by competition as well. And that's the style, that's the goal of this. So those are some details. I'll be giving you more over the next few weeks leading up to the offering date and leading up to the IPO as well. And even at the day of the IPO, we're making videos about it. Just comment your videos, comment your questions on what you want me to make videos on, and I'll talk about it. I'll make something new. I'm about to go to the investors forum. Rest assured that I'll cover the event. I'll make a video about it so you get to see what happens there and you get to have data about it. So aside from that, Stock Smarts Manila will be this Saturday and Sunday for those of you guys who are in Manila already and want to know more of how you can crush it and trade the markets with confidence. I hope to see you there. For those who want a copy of the shop of my books via Shopee, the link is down below. So this is Marvin Germo giving you a brief background, a couple of details on what the Axelum IPO is. And we're gonna have a tons load of IPOs, even more in the next few months. No, expect more and more videos from this channel, because this channel is dedicated to help you win and crush it in the market. So this is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.